Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the MMAOB Daily Podcast. It is Monday, February 13th, 2023, the Valentine's Day edition, Marcel, of the podcast, the one day before Valentine's Day. Looking forward to talking about UFC 284 with you, my man. We're going to recap that card, obviously. So we'll do that for the first hour here. And then the next podcast, we'll do the preview for UFC Vegas 69 on Andrade and Blanchfield. We obviously had the main event switch up there the last second. But anyways, how's everything with you, man? Did you have a good weekend? Did you watch Super Bowl, Marcel?
I did. It was yesterday.
What did you think of it?
Yeah, it was fun. Kind of a questionable call, I think, at the last moment. I don't know too much about it, so I'm not going to go deeply into it. But it seemed to me like a questionable call, and it decided the game. So, I mean, what can you say? What did you think?
It was a great game. I mean, It sucks because I had the Eagles and they lost, but it is what it is. They had to win. They were winning by 10 points at half and they lost. And that's the thing with football. Like, because the other team gets the ball back, if they win the toss and defer it, then they always have a chance to come back, really. So I wasn't surprised, especially with Mahomes, such a great player, Marcel.
Mm-hmm.
The call was kind of shitty, the way to kind of decide the game. And the guy did kind of grab at him, but I don't like, we see that a lot, like on almost every play, and they don't call it. So anyways, it is what it is. Kansas City is a great team. There's no problem with them winning the game. It was a great game either way. But anyways, we know what else is great, Marcel? UFC 284, man. And it was a fucking awesome card. Let me just get in these comments, and then we'll get into the card. We got Joe in the chat. Joe, your Eagles, man. Fuck, Joe. I really thought they'd get it this year, but maybe next year. What's up, girl? Glad to have you here, man. And thanks for doing the images again for the podcast. I appreciate that, my man. We got Antoine in the chat. What's going on, brother? What's up, boys? Personally, I think main event was all-time classic. I agree with you. We got Glenn in the chat, too. We've got a lot of our regulars in the chat, Marcel, which is awesome. So I say let's get right into this card, Marcel. UFC 284. Talk about that for a bit. Overall, I think it was an amazing card, like especially the pay-per-view portion of the card, Marcel. Maybe some of the prelims weren't amazing, but the pay-per-view portion was phenomenal. Like one of the best from the top 5 fights, like probably one of the best you'll ever see. Amazing fights. Like the main event was incredible. You had a couple of sick finishes. The first fight was amazing too. So overall, the card was really good. But the main card, the pay-per-view card, was like to me one of the best like in a long time. It was such a good card. What were your thoughts? Because I know you going into it, I think you said 7.5 out of 10 or something, but I'm pretty sure you had a higher rating after the card, right?
I'll give it an 8. Really good. I think over the most fights were really good. I expected the main event to be good, obviously. I expected Della, Maddalena, Brown to be fun. Tafa, Porter could be hit or miss, and it was hit because it was an early knockout,
Yep.
And Crute against Manifield, kind of an odd fight, but a fun one, and and obviously the co-main event was a lot better than I expected, so yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good card, man. Let's just get into it. We'll start with the main event. Islam Makhachev defeats Alexander Volkanovski via unanimous decision. 248-47, 149-46. So let's get my thoughts on the fight. First off, just one of the best fights of all time. I really think it was. It's just so high level, like so technical, and both guys were super competitive in this fight. I did think it'd be a really competitive fight. It was even closer than I thought it would be, to be honest with you, because I really think this fight comes down to how you score the second round. And I think, for me, I scored it for Makhachev, but it was so close, like that I don't think giving it to Volkanovski 48-47 is a bad card at all. So I definitely saw why people thought that out there. I don't agree with that 49-46 card for Makhachev because the judge gave him the third round, I think, and I just don't agree with that. I think that Volkanovski, for me, honestly, Marcel, 4 of the rounds were pretty easy to score. The first round, obviously, and the fourth round for Islam, and then the third and fifth for Volkanovski are pretty easy to score, in my opinion. It just comes down to the second round, which was very close. And again, I lean towards Makhachev, but if you look at the strike stats, Marcel, both had 19 significant strikes in that round. Makhachev did have one takedown, but both guys had basically the same amount of control time. It was super, super close. It really came down to that round. All 3 judges thought that Makhachev won the round, like I did, which I'm fine with. So I think the right guy won the fight, but I'm just saying it was so close. I really was not surprised. Wouldn't have been surprised if it was like a split decision and one of the judges thought the other way, but they didn't. I do think that people saying the fourth round going to Volkanovski because he landed some punches while he was in the body triangle. Come on, guys. Like, it's effective striking and grappling. When you have a guy in a body triangle for 4 minutes, you win the round. Like, especially when the other guy didn't land really anything significant, quote unquote. So most significant strike came in the 5th round with that knockdown by Volkanovski. And, someone we bet on Makhachev, that was sketcy, man. I was like, oh shit, like this isn't good, right? So it was definitely closer than the odds said. It was, Marcel, like it was almost minus 400, much closer fight. I think they have the rematch. It's going to be like minus 200. probably half of what it was. Anyways, overall, I thought it was an amazing fight. I want to get your thoughts on it, man. But yeah, I think the right guy won. But it was such a great fight. Give me your thoughts, man.
Yeah, man, great fight. Very fun. I think Makhachev won all 5 rounds. I'm just kidding. No, I think it was, I think 1, 2, and 4, Makhachev, 3 and 5, Volkanovski.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. Yeah, I saw so many people saying, like, yeah, 4th round Volkanovski. I was like, no. He was in the body triangle for a long time, and these kind of punches don't fucking hurt. You know what I mean?
Not at all.
Yeah, these are annoying, but they don't hurt, So, nah, man, that's a Makhachev round, in my opinion. So I had a 3-2 for Makhachev. Yeah, good round, man. You see at a certain moment, Volkanovski can go 5 hard rounds. And Makhachev struggles after 4 rounds, 4 rounds, His cardio is going a little bit more down, and Volkanovski was able to take over in that 5th round. I think if there were more rounds, Makhachev would be fucked, but it's 5 rounds, so it's done. He did what he had to do. Yeah, good fight. I think Volkanovski didn't lose any stock over this fight. Probably been more, how do you say that? Got more popularity even. Makhachev, good first title defense, man. People are now saying, like, yeah, he fought against a featherweight, guys. Come on. If any other lightweight, if Charles Oliveira would have fought Volkanovski, I think Volkanovski would have won the fight. You know what I mean? So,
yep.
I don't really take that as a thing. The pound for pound thing, the thing is really simple, If you put that on the line and you say if you say for me it's like to win a second title, and for him it's like to win the pound for pound title if he wins, then you cannot retract after you think he didn't win the pound for pound title. Is Volkanovski resume better than Makhachev? I agree, But if you make this the pound for pound 1 against the pound for pound 2, and one of the 2 guys wins, then Islam is the pound for pound king. I don't care what happens, If Volk won, he would have got it, or we would still be it. But now Volk lost, so he's not the pound for pound king anymore. Although many people maybe think he is because he put on such a great effort. Overall, great fight. I think this fight we can see a rematch down the line, But right now, I feel like Volk has to go back to fight Yair. And I think Islam will fight probably the winner of Charles against Beneil. So I hope he fights the winner of Charles against Beneil, and that they don't sneak in McGregor, Chandler, or whatever they want to try. Yeah. But yeah, overall, it is a very good fight. It was very competitive. I think. Listen, man, Islam said I underestimated Volk's ground game, and he did, obviously. But Volk said the same thing. He underestimated Islam's stand-up, So they kind of underestimate each other with their strongest part, which they thought that was their weakest part, So, yeah, I think overall a great fight, man. And, yeah, great fight. And yeah, I want to give an extra shout-out to Volkanovski being so respectful. Afterwards, when the audience was booing Makhachev, he was like, guys, come on.
Yeah,
this is not necessary, and I really respect that,
Yeah, I just wanted to get back to what you were saying about Makhachev's striking. Dude, it looked so good in this fight. Like, it looked way better than I thought, man. I thought his striking looked great. I know he got dropped in the 5th round, but overall, like, he definitely held his own in the stand-up against the guy who's a great striker. Like, think about it, Volkanovski outstruck Max Holloway in 3 fights. The guy's so good, man. Or at least in 2 of them, anyways. I don't know the second fight was close. But yeah, the point is, like, his stand-up looked really good. You know what, Marcel? I gotta be honest. Like, I wasn't completely sold on Islam like a couple fights ago, like because the run up the ladder really. I know he beat Armand a few years ago, right? That was his best win. But like Bobby Green, and he's a decent fighter, but not great. And like I wasn't convinced. Like everyone kept saying, his coaches kept saying, Khabib kept saying, this guy's the best fighter in the world. Like he's one of the best fighters in the world. I wasn't convinced to myself, but now that he's beating Volkanovski and Oliveira back-to-back fights, like he definitely is up there. He is one of the best fighters in the world. Yeah. I think the guy's amazing. I really do. I have a lot more like respect for his game now, man. He's great. What are you gonna say?
The thing is why. Listen, man, sometimes you see it very well, and sometimes I see it a little bit different. But the thing why I was convinced in Islam is the way he finished his opponent, the way he finishes Bobby Green in the 1st round, the way he finished Hooker in the 1st round. You know, it's like not that I expect him to win, but I didn't expect him to do it in that way. That showed me that he was levels above these guys. And when he fought Oliveira, I was like, this is a huge step up, but still, I think he can beat Oliveira and finish Oliveira. I picked submission round 1 back then.
Yeah.
He got him in the second round. I didn't expect him to drop him like that against Oliveira. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But sometimes you see something in fighters, and you probably had it as well with a certain fighter that you're like, this guy can come really far. I had it with Hanan Barao.
Yeah.
Back in the day when he started in the UFC, when he was in WC and started in UFC,
Mhm.
when he beat Brad Pickett, I don't know if you can remember
Yeah,
that.
I can remember it. Yeah, of course.
And he put him away so easily, back control amazingly quick. I was like, this dude's going to be a champion, And I know he completely faded after the TJ fight, but still, but with some guys you have that. John Jones, I think you had that as well. When you saw John Jones, you were like, dude, this guy is going to be something,
Yeah.
And with some guys you have that, some guys you just have that.
No, I
And
completely
sometimes
agree.
it comes through and sometimes it doesn't. So.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I definitely get what you're saying. Let me get some comments here, guys. John loved the card, so did I. Hey Marcus, what's up? He says, I give Islam rounds 1, 2, 4. Same here. Volk cost himself round 4. He lost focus on Islam. Started talking to Islam quarter. It ended up Islam taking his back first round. Yeah, I kind of agree with that too.
Yeah, actually, I think
didn't like that card either, Joe.
That's a really good point, man. What Marcus makes there, because I feel like Volk got frustrated at a certain moment, and he got talked a lot, and Islam wasn't reacting at all to him. He was just doing his game plan, and it might have costed him that 4th round, because the 3rd round he won the 5th round, but that 4th round he had the back control for like 3 minutes, over 3 minutes. So I'm really on Marcus' side here. I think he has a really good point here, man.
Yeah, I agree. We get some other comments here. Yeah. Antoine thought Volk won. Yeah, I mean, I don't believe you. I saw that Joe Rogan thought he won. That's for sure. But he also said he was drunk too. So
yeah, but I take Antoine more serious than Joe Rogan. So.
Why did Islam and petrified look on his face in the 5th? I mean, he got a little bit tired, man. He was looking at the clock too. I mean, it was a tough fight, man. It was a very hard fight. Both these guys will get better after this fight, which is crazy because they're both already like amazing. I want to get this comment. Go ahead.
Yeah. Something really annoys me, man, online, and I gotta say it, and it's good from both sides, the Volk fans, the Islam fans. I mean, listen, guys, these two built up a great fight, in my opinion, were really respectful towards each other leading up to the fight. They were both a little bit like playingly talking trash, like Islam was like, this guy has no ground game, and he was smiling, and then Volkanovski was smiling. He's like, you'll see. Was not anything mean, or anything nasty, but they played a little bit. But if you see how much respect these guys had, after the fight, the fans should more enjoy these kind of things, and not be so salty about a close fight that didn't go the way they wanted it for their fighter, because I think you can make a case for Volkanovski winning 48-47, and you can make a case for Islam winning 48-47. I think Islam won the fight. Adam thinks as well, but at the same time, with 48-47 Volk, I would have been pissed if that was the case. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, these fans, they're crazy, man. I mean, I purposely didn't give my scores during the fight because I really didn't felt to get all the backlash of it. You know what I mean? I just said on the end, I think it was 48-47. I think the right guy won. That's it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I agree. And here, we got to talk about this now. So,
sorry.
Dan Hooker's out there, and I think even Volkanovski's accusing Islam of using an IV. I don't see any proof of this yet. I mean, obviously, if he did use it, he's cheated because you can't use them anymore unless I think there is an exception if the UFC knows about it and notifies the commission because of like a health reason. But guys used to use these all the time, right? Back in the day, Marcel, before you saw they all used IVs to rehydrate.
Adam.
Yeah.
Dan Hooker is like a woke woman. He's like a woke woman. He's like a guy who puts on a rumor on Twitter, and then when people ask for proof, he's like, "Can you prove that I'm wrong? Can you prove that I'm wrong?" No, dude, you came up with an allegation. You should prove that you're right. We don't have to prove that you're wrong. You know what I mean? So and those pictures they post from Islam, dude, I had my blood taken from me, in the hospital. And when the needle is long in the vein or something, or they take a lot of blood, you can get that, how do you say that, a bruise spot there, that doesn't have to do, that doesn't need to have to do anything with IVs, It's possible, don't get me wrong, but doesn't need to have to do with IVs, So if you have an allegation, you gotta have proof, because you kind of sound like a salty woman. You sound like, when you come up with these kind of stuff on Twitter, and then being like, oh, he's a bitch, he's this, he's that. Come up with proof. It's the same thing. It's just how society works. You got to come up with proof, in my opinion. And a lot of people will jump on it because they either don't like the decision, or they don't like Islam. It's one of the two. They don't like the decision, they don't like Islam, or they are Volk fans, So they come up with this, and they try to downgrade the, how do you say that, the result that Islam got in this fight, and it's something that really annoys me. And Dan Hooker should be better, man. Be a better man, dude. I mean, if you have the proof and you show it, I'm fully with it. You get my credits for it, and you don't need my credits, but I'll give you credits for it if you do. But if you don't, shut the fuck up.
It's funny. Yeah, I mean,
don't you think so?
I want to see some proof. I really have no idea. I have no idea at this point.
Listen, as long as there are no proof, there is no proof, and you should shut up. Give us the proof or shut up.
Yeah. Here's some other comments here. George is in the chat. What's up, man? He still thinks Volk's number one pound for pound. I'm curious to see what they'll do in the rankings. I think Makhachev will get first, but it is pound for pound. It's a weird concept. Even it's something that it's not even worth arguing about, really. What's up, man? He says, sweet scientist. Volk said he's going back down to featherweight after the fight. So what was the point of the interim belt? Just because if he had won the fight, I guess he would have stayed up at lightweight. I guess. I mean, yeah, I think that's why. It's all pipe. How's it going, man? Glad to have you here. All right. Anything else you want to say in the main event? I think we should go on. We've spent quite a bit of time on it. You want to go?
It was a great fight, man. I really enjoyed it. That's it.
Yeah, agreed. All right, let's go to the co-main event. Yair Rodriguez defeats Josh Emmett by second round submission. Yair's amazing. We all reviewed this. I mean, I've liked the guy. He's a guy, Marcel. Ever since I saw him, you talk about like Islam, and you think he's going to be a champ one day. I thought this about Yair too when he came in the UFC. I mean, it's been a while, but like, remember when he fought BJ Penn? It was 6 years ago now. But like, it took him a while really to really get here and develop into this championship guy. Because I remember that fight, and then he fought Frankie Marcel, and people thought at that point if he beat Frankie, he would have probably fought for the belt. So it took him a while to get here. Had some ups and downs, but guy's fucking great, man. He's an awesome fighter. He's looked amazing the last couple of fights, and this fight was, great submission win for him. The first round was very competitive, though. I'll say that. Like, he was controlling the round with the kicks, which is exactly how I thought the fight would go. And then Emmett hurt him. Emmett hurt him bad, but he recovered, and he was able to get the submission in the second round. I think Emmett, his corner was yelling at him, saying, "He's hurt. He's hurt." That was his best chance to win the belt he'll ever have in his life, man. I think it's possible if he just unloaded ground and pound, he could have possibly finished him there, but wasn't able to get it done. And to credit to Yair, he did a great job moving and shrimping away from him, and ends up getting into the second round, then finishing the fight himself. So yeah, Yair's awesome. Great submission win, man. Give me your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, man, Yair, man. When I saw him during fight week, how he looked, man, he looked like some cheap NPC from a computer game. I was like, what the hell? How does he look? He looked completely different. But in the cage, he looked like the Yair I remember again, and man, he was good. I was really impressed. Still think Volkanovski whoops him, to be really honest, but I think Yair was really good, and I think he improved a lot. He improved a lot from the fight when he fought Frankie Edgar. That was back in the day when many people thought like maybe within 2 years, he's becoming a champion. But it took a little bit longer. But I think we saw in the Max Holloway fight that he actually lost, that he could hang with the guy. You know what I mean? And that was already impressive. He looked good, and he finished Emmett in the second round submission. I didn't expect that at all, to be honest. And good for him, man. It sets up a fight with Volkanovski, I think. And I think it will be a fun fight. But still, man, how can you not favor Volkanovski? You know what I mean? I mean, dude is so good, and you have the feeling like Volkanovski is 34, but you feel like he still can improve. That's a crazy thing. So, that will be a fun fight. And if the UFC is smart, they do Moreno against Pantoja, they do Yair against Volkanovski, and they do Aldana versus Nunes in the big Mexico event later this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed. All right.
Even put Grasso on it if she wins against Chef. You never know. Don't think it will happen, but you never know.
Yeah, let me get some comments here. Antoine was asking, How do you think who does against Alex? I mean, Yair's an interesting matchup, right? Because he's just so dynamic and different, right? That's the thing about him, Marcel. He's different than everyone else. But it's just, especially after watching Alex almost win the lightweight belt, how do you not
pick against him? Yeah,
you can't, especially at featherweight, right? You just can't. Like, I would actually pick him to beat a lot of lightweights too, man. I'm telling you right now.
Is it crazy, man, that we say like you cannot pick against Alex, and he lost, and Yair actually won with probably his best performance yet, and we can't pick against Alex. That's
well. I just think we just have more like appreciation for Islam than Emmett. Emmett's a good fighter, but he's not at Islam's level.
No,
and obviously different weight classes too. A couple other comments here. Your boy Crazy Patos here felt bad. Volk got robbed. I don't know if he got robbed, but I mean, it was a close fight. Volk wants the rematch. Yeah, I would like to see rematch one day, but I don't think anytime soon. I mean, there's other contenders at 155, guys. The rematch might happen like a couple years down the road, but it's not happening like next or anytime soon. Yes, 2 podcasts today. Go ahead.
You know what I always love when people get like post a clip from Adesanya. It's like Adesanya was sure that Volkanovski won the fight. It's like, guys, he's his teammate. It's like when Misha Tate, or when people were posting, Misha Tate picked Juliana Pena to defeat Nunes the first time. It's like, it's her teammate, is a best friend of hers. That's not news. That's like when Adam Martin is going to fight, let's say, who can you fight in MMA media?
I don't know. You. Me versus you.
No, not me. You have to pick somebody else, not me. Come on.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that guy from the scorecards from Severe, of course I'm gonna pick Adam, because he's my guy. Even if he hasn't trained, I pick him. I'm backing him. You know what I mean? So
I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
I don't want to fight anyway. I've already had a fight, and I don't want to do it again.
I'm a big.
Let's get some more comments. Was it Yair and you on the Matrix? Yeah, I mean he looked like him, right? Get some more comments here, Marcel. We gotta get through this.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Doug, what's up, man? He says Yair went straight through. I thought Emmett would have fought a bit better. Josh just didn't. He actually had a really tough weight cut, I think, as well. And he just didn't look good.
They give you all matchups. Come on.
Oh, I didn't see this. Sorry, I didn't see you guys. Me versus Luke. Luke is I'm tall, but Luke Thomas is even taller than me. Me versus Emmett Groot. Man, because the thing about that fight would be he'd have all his boys come after me too. It'd be like 20-on-1, so I can't do that one. I would fight Marcel, but that's it, just because I'm his friend. And then we
I'll fight the guy from Severe, no problem. I
know you'd fight that guy.
We're on the same weight class, so that's perfect.
Yeah, super heavyweight division. Emmett versus Evlov. Yeah, that fight would be good. Emmett's going to have to take a step down now. You know what? Would you be surprised if he retired, Emmett?
No, I actually wouldn't been. I was like, if he loses, he might retire because he's kind of an older guy.
He's an older guy, right? And yeah. Is he really going to get back to the belt now? Probably not.
I don't think so. And all respect to Emmett, man. I mean,
he's a good fighter, man. There's no doubt about it. He can still fight. I'm not saying he needs to retire, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did because, he's getting up there in age. He's got other things going on in his life.
And he's underrated. I got to say he's an
underrated fighter. He just ran into a tough matchup. We both like Yair in that fight. Marcus thinks, what do you think the odds would be for Volk versus Yair? I mean, Volk will be favored probably 2-1, 2.5 to 1, something like that.
I think minus 300 at least.
Maybe like 3-1, yeah, something like that. Under 300. Maybe that's even too high, Marcel, because Yair looks so good in this fight.
It's probably too high, but I think so.
Yeah, it's possible. It already opened this year at minus 550. Volk, really?
Oh.
No way. Is that true?
Minus 500. Okay.
He's not wrong, actually. Sorry, guys. My apologies. He's right. They actually did open up earlier this year. But no one's bet on it. It hasn't moved yet. Okay, so it hasn't moved yet. And also, the book that opened that, Bet Online, they open all the lines. Okay, so they're gonna miss some, but it's the same book that opened minus 1,000 for Tyson Pedro. So I'm just saying, like,
dude,
they're not gonna get the ball right. You were the first one who was like, "What the fuck kind of line is this?" You were the. We'll talk about that fight in a minute, okay? Because that was wow. Kaiser Patrick says, "I don't want to sound like you're getting all the way into Arizola's luck." Yeah, the thing is, Zabit. You bring up Zabit. Zabit, I think, is one guy that could give Volkanovski a lot of problems, but he's probably not going to fight anytime soon. I am surprised at minus 500. That is really high. But again, it hasn't moved yet, guys. It hasn't moved. Like, once people start betting on the fight, the line will move. That seems excessive, though. Remember, Holloway was like minus 800, I think, against Yair, and Yair gave him a really tough fight. So, yeah, I mean, he's good, but yeah, Volkanovski can be favored. I just think that's a little excessive. Minus 500, that seems too high. I'll be honest with you. All right. let's go to the next fight here, Marcel. Our boy Jack Della Maddalena gets the submission win. I thought he'd knock him out, but he dropped him and then submits him. The guy's legit, and now he called up Vicente Luque. I want to see that fight. That fight would just be pure violence, and I really think this guy can win that fight, to be honest with you. I think he's a guy that could be a champion, Marcel. I think he's amazing. So, we'll see if he has the pure wrestling to compete with those guys like Usman and Colby and those guys, those top guys like Burns. But as far as like the striking goes and even the submissions, the guy's just sick. He's dangerous everywhere. And he took a really good fighter, Randy Brown, here in 2 minutes. Marcel, how good is this guy?
He's amazing, and I was talking to Dennis, who also has a podcast in the Netherlands, and he picked, I think, Della Maddalena KO first round, and he would have got 6 points, but now he only gets 1 because it was a submission, and I picked decision, so I also get 1. So it's like I'm happy he subbed him and didn't KO him because he would have walked away from me. But yeah, I mean, what can you say about him, man? The first moment he really came through to Randy, he hit him, and he pretty much staggered him. You saw Randy making a really weird kind of jump, and he jumped on him. He got the rear naked choke, and I mean, dude is so good, I still think Jack is a great name, but if he kept his real name like Giacomo Della Maddalena, a crazy name, yeah, he's so good, and he's still so young as well, yeah, I mean, I want to see him fight a top 15 guy. I was thinking about Michel Pereira because he doesn't have that matchup with Sean Brady, but at the same time, they are managed both by Tim Simpson. I don't think they're really looking forward to match those two up with each other. Yeah, I like the Vicente Luque fight as well, man. I mean, he can fight whoever in top 15, which will be a great fight, I think. I think this was the guy, Randy Brown, is just under the top 15. And yeah, he went through that with flying colors, really good win, statement win, what I said on Twitter. If you put Randy Brown away in the first round like that, you're really good, and yeah, all respect to Jack Della Maddalena, man. I mean, he had so much hype behind his name. He fought like 10 minutes from his house in Perth. And to show it like that, man, that's amazing. You got to be cool in the head to fight in front of your hometown fans and get a win like that. So, yeah, all credit. And he's fighting from a small gym, right?
Yeah.
And it's not like with the big teams. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to what's next for him. He's really good.
He's so fucking good. I love watching him fight, man. Yeah. He's fucking awesome. Go ahead.
I honestly think might be one of the most popular guys right now in the UFC by many fans, because people see him fight and he's always entertaining. So even the decision on the Dana White Contender Series in 2021 was likely the best fight of the season against Ainge Lusa. So, yeah.
Yeah, that fight was good. He's just so good. Anyways, get some comments. Juan loves the Luque fight. I think it's great. It's such a great fight. Actually, our boy James Lynch I saw him tweet about it first. He was like, I want to see this fight. And then after the event was over, Jack was the one saying, I wanted this fight. So credit to James, too, for putting that out there. Jack's for real. Him and Luque being... Yeah, definitely 5 rounds. He's got to get a 5-round fight, I think, next. Hey, Marcel? Jack? I think so.
I mean, they can give him a main event.
On a fight night card. I'm not saying on a pay-per-view.
A main event?
Yeah, fight night.
Yeah, why not? I mean, he's entertaining, and the UFC can build him, I think. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And you see, for example, this is actually a good example. When people saying, like, Paddy is still young, the UFC should do it slowly with him and this and kind of. Paddy is like 4 years older than Jack. Who's Jack fighting? Who's Paddy fighting? You know what I mean? You see the difference?
Jack's 26 and he's fighting like the toughest guys right now. Like, Randy Brown's really tough. Like,
exactly.
I know, I agree with you. Like, they're always trying to build up this guy. Paddy's so slow. And actually, what Jamie Malarkey called him out. We'll talk about that after. Let me get to the comments here, Marcel. We're halfway down the show and we still have so many fights left to go.
Yeah, man.
Well, Marcus, how's it going, man? Glad to have you in the chat, buddy. When Brown was dropped on ground pound, I thought we were in stock. Same here, and it was a nice submission. Knox, what's up, man? He says, big question is how good is Jack ground game actually hasn't been tested area. I agree. I mean, I want to. It's not even with just the ground game. I want to see the pure wrestling. Like, can he stop a takedown? Really hasn't, been shot at by a good grappler, right? But he does have some submissions on his resume, including this one. So it's not like he's completely out of he could submit guys, but I want to see defensively how good he is. So I'm with that guy. I think it's a good thing to want to know. Thought Randy Brown's reach would be a challenge. Yeah, no, it's just too good. Anyways, let's go to the next fight here. Justin Tafa knocks out Parker Porter. I called this one. Marcel, who'd you pick again? Porter?
I picked Porter by decision, but I said already I hope Tafa knocks him out.
Yeah, I figured you either be Tafa winning by quickly or you get Gasto and then Porter takes over. But I picked Tafa just because I really don't think Porter's that great, man. His chin is questionable to me and gets knocked out again. I just don't think it's like an amazing win by any means for Tafa. Like, he got the job done. He didn't get a bonus. Some people were saying he got robbed of a bonus. I don't know. I mean, it was a nice knockout, but like, the guy he's fighting is not amazing by any means. I do think the UFC should have given out more bonuses though, but I would have given it to like Clayton. Well, Clayton this way. Josh Kulabel probably for that crazy comeback after getting kicked in the nuts, and then Loma for that submission more than this guy, to be honest with you. Even though it was a nice knockout, I'm just saying it wasn't like, I don't know, Mark. So it was a good knockout. I just don't think it was like amazing by any means.
But what did Porter expect, man? He started to trade with him.
Stupid. He left his chin exposed. He had his hands down. Like, it was really a bad performance by Porter.
I expected Porter to try to take him down and control him there. And then I see him trading with him. I was like, dude, you're going to be knocked out in the first round.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Marcel. I'm with you on this one. All right, let's go to the George thinks he deserves a bonus. I do agree that they should have given out more bonuses, George. I'm just saying, if it was me, I would have given one to Kulabau and to Loma before Tafa.
You know what it is, Adam? There's a lot of favoritism with the UFC,
Sure.
Because, for example, I agree with you that the opponent is maybe not as good, but look at, they gave Joe Pfeiffer a $50K bonus over Alan Amadowski.
Oh my God.
I mean,
because Dana likes him and he wants to give him money.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Crude and Mennefield, we'll talk about that now. This could have been also fight of the night. I mean, obviously the main event is going to get that, right? But this was a great fight, Marcel. It was a really good fight, very back and forth. Super close, and Mennefield would have won if he didn't get that point deduction for that fence grab. But I definitely think the referee, which was Mark Goddard, I think the point was justified, Marcel, because it stopped the takedown. So for me, that was justified. Crute's striking defense is terrible though; like, it's so bad, Marcel, and I'm worried about this guy going forward. I mean, he's taken so much damage, guys. If you look at his last 3 fights, he's taken a lot of damage, and like, he is a young guy, but he just doesn't. He blocks punches with his face. He doesn't move his head much. Mennefield couldn't get him out of there, but hurt him badly in the fight. Mennefield gassed out again, which obviously has been a problem in his career, getting tired, the conditioning, all that muscle he carries. Crute, credit to him, man. Super tough, showing a lot of heart here. I think a lot of guys would have folded there. I think it was the second round, Marcel got dropped twice. Dropped badly, especially by the punch early in the round. I think a lot of fighters would have quit there, man. But this guy showed a lot of heart. It was an amazing fight, though. And then afterwards, they showed really good sportsmanship with each other, which was awesome to see. And I want to see a rematch. I think the rematch makes a lot of sense. Put it on a card this summer or something like that, on the pay-per-view card. I think it was a great fight. I really enjoyed this fight, man. It wasn't like the most technical fight. It was a little bit sloppy, but both guys showed a lot of heart in this fight. That's what I like to see. So I don't know what you thought, Marcel, but I really enjoyed this fight. What do you think?
Yeah, me too. And I hate how you say crude because it makes me think about salmon on crude, and I got hungry again.
You're talking about that again.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But yeah, I mean, I had Alonso the first 2 rounds, and I was like, he actually should have let Crude take him down and lose the 3rd round, then you lose a 29-28. Although it would have been a split because one judge had the second round or the first round for Crude, so it would have been a split. Would have been 29-28 Crude and 2 times 29-28 Mennefield. Yeah, I mean, a rematch is okay with me. I think Jimmy Crude posted on his Instagram, like, I see you guys saying that I won. I definitely didn't win. So he's like, I do like a rematch for sure. So they can do that. I think Goddard was justified by taking a point because there was a blatant fence grab, which prevented him from taking him down. So, yeah, I was good with that. No problem at all. Yeah, I mean, it went to a draw like I expected, expected after the fight, obviously. I had 2 rounds for Mennefield, 1 round for Crude, 28-28 after the point deduction. So, yeah.
I also had a draw. I think that was the right scorecard. And I actually did end up betting on Crude at the end, and I was like, man, this is going to lose. And I was just so thankful they took the point away, Marcel.
Yeah, can I say that the Anzac fighters, the Australian and New Zealand fighters, didn't get any favors from the judges in this event?
Yeah, they did a good job, I think, overall.
Yeah, because normally you always see like some close decisions go to the hometown fighters, and that wasn't the case in this one. So, yeah. Yeah,
let me get some more comments here. Taffa deserved a bonus. Oh, you're talking about the last fight. Yeah, I mean, they could have given one. Sorry, I missed Marcus. He didn't get a bonus, Marcus. Yeah, I agree with this guy. His quarter striking defense is bad. Pat Barry, coach of the year. No, but it looks like him and Menifee have something good going on. I'll say that, Shout out to ESPN Plus. Got hooked on pay-per-view. That's cool. That's good stuff. UFC Fight Pass is good. I like it. We need to hear for the prelims. We get there. All right, let's go to
they are fuckers, dude. We had before we had also the main cards on it, but obviously the main card is now Discovery Plus over here, so they only have the prelims, but price is still the same.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Fuckers. All right, let's get through the prelims and go through them quicker than the main card. Your boy Modestas Bukauskas Marcel pulls off the upset here with Tyson Pedro. I definitely think he won the fight. I saw some. If you looked at MMA decisions, Marcel, there's a couple of media outlets that scored it for Pedro. What the fuck were they watching? There's no way he won the fight. I definitely thought Modestas won. What was it? The first round, I think, was Pedro. Was it the first round? Yeah, the first round, right? With the takedowns, and that's it. I mean, he looked terrible in this fight. What happened to this guy, Marcel? He looked like shit. And looking at his record in the UFC, he's 5-4 now. He's been a favorite in all 9 of his fights, and so he's lost 4 fights as a favorite. This guy's not that good, Marcel.
He's pretty much a one-round fighter. You know what I mean? If you get a more talented fighter over him, he's fucked after 1 round. And for example, like I said to you last week, I think Modestas Bukauskas also would have won against Ike Villanueva and Harry Hunsucker. You know what I mean? Yeah. So for me, it was like I said, it was a close fight. I didn't went with Bukauskas because I thought that Pedro, he had the full camp, and I expected him to at least come out better. But Modestas, I think Modestas didn't even fought really great, but he had a good basic how he fought, and that's what beat him, And it's really good for Modestas, good comeback fight for him in the UFC. I'm happy for him. He's definitely a very nice guy as well, very good guy. And for Pedro, I think Pedro again showed that he is an elite. You know what I mean? We already kind of saw that in earlier fights when he got finished by Shogun. I remember an aged Shogun, we should say.
He was injured in that fight, but I know what you're saying. But even OSP finished him quickly.
So it's great win for Modestas, man. Really good. Short notice fight, 2.5 week notice. Got cut from the UFC, won the Cage Warriors title back, come back, and that's a huge pressure, because you already got cut and you got a second chance, and he took that second chance. I'm super happy for the dude,
I almost feel like Pedro's gotten worse. If you look at his record, he started with wins over Roundtree and Craig, and since he came back from the injury, like you said, they gave him 2 the easiest fights he'll ever get with Ike and Harry Hunsucker, who are not in the UFC anymore. Now he fights a guy who's actually decent, but Modestas, like you said, has a good base and gets basically outstruck after the first round there. So just very bad performance by this guy. And if they were trying to push him as a contender or a star, I don't think they can do it anymore after this performance, Marcel. I don't know. This was bad. This was really bad. Patrick, what's up, man? Modestas was calling for UFC return of Wild Khalil, right? For sure. I mean, he got cut because he had a losing skid. He got injured against Khalil, but he's definitely a UFC caliber guy. UFC needs to say Yoko a second chance. Is that cut official? Do you know?
I don't know. He posted that and then tweeted that and then deleted it. So maybe
I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I don't know either. Anyways, let's go to the next fight.
I feel like his manager told him, dude, maybe delete that. Maybe
I know. That's what I think. But he didn't delete the replies. You can still read all the replies, Marcel, just so you know.
You got one more question, man. I'm down.
Pedro's terrible cardio. He was very tired going the second round. It was bad. He looked gassed. His mouth was wide open. You knew he was going to lose the fight after that. I was looking at the live lines, and Bendeskas was favorite after the first round. I think that was justified. All right, next fight, Josh Kulubel submits Melsic Bagdasarian. Melsic looked good, Marcel, early on. He was outstriking him, and then that nasty nut shot to Kulubel, and credit to the guy for continuing the fight. And then second round, basically, I want to say, what happened? Melsic, slipped almost, fell down.
Yeah.
Kulubel took his back. The way he took his back was just beautiful, and the submission was nasty. And I really do think this guy could have gotten a bonus. I almost feel like he should have gotten one because a guy like this, Marcel, who's a prelim guy, could really do a lot with that $50,000. Really help him out and help him get the training he needs and the help he needs to prepare better and become an even better fighter. This guy started off in the UFC with that loss to Turner, and I'm like, this guy's not that good. Then he had the draw of Jordan. I'm like, all right, he's a little better. 3 straight wins since then, Marcel. And he's looking good, man. Guy's better than I think we all thought. So yeah, good performance by him overall. I mean, after again getting kicked in the nuts there with that spinning back kick. And quick thoughts on this one?
Yeah, first got to start with the weigh-in, right?
Yeah,
You know, the thing is, like, people were really hard on Melsick for that, and I kind of agree. But also, Koulibaly was annoying him. You know, he was really being annoying in the weigh-in. You know, he's trying to get under his skin. He got under his skin, and he got shoved. You know, I think they both did bad in the way. I don't like that kind of stuff, but yeah, whatever helps the fight up, I guess. First round, like you said, good round for Melsick. Kicked him in the nuts. A very hard kick, actually. And I think Melsick said that no, it wasn't in the nuts. And then he asked the broadcast, like, wasn't it in the nuts? The broadcast, like, yes, okay, he apologized. And then second round, a good win for Koulibaly, you know. And yeah, I'd like to see what's next for him. I got to be honest, man. I've never been high on Koulibaly. You know, when he came in the UFC, you pretty much said it. You know, he lost to Turner, which was that can happen. I think he got really lucky with the draw against Jourdain. I don't think that was a draw. But after that did well. And I think the last fight he fought was against the Korean guy, the Sungwoo Choi, right?
yeah, and that was an
Split
upset
decision,
win for him.
but should have been a unanimous. It wasn't
Easily.
unanimous.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, good for him. You know, I like to see what's next for him. I think a win over Melsick is really good. You know, I really like Melsick. So yeah.
I agree with you on that one. All right. A couple comments here. Potential hell, but I saw that too, and really the referee should have stopped the fight. And you know, the last event, Troy got a point taken, right? So
yeah, Melsick was. I said like Melsick Figueiredo to a friend of mine. So
yeah. All right. Yeah, it was a good fight. Koulibaly's a beast. Turner's great. Yeah, he's looking for a fight right now. Oh, Antoine has a question. Do you think JDM gets the Luque fight? I do. I do think he'll get this fight. Do you think so, Marcel? Because I think it just makes a lot of sense. What do you think?
yeah, why not? I mean, listen, man, Luque, he lost that fight to Jeff Neal, and he's not anywhere near being in the top right now after losing that fight. You know, so it only makes sense. You know, you got Jack Della Maddalena, who is like a new guy coming up. And you got Luca, who has been for a long time in that, how do you say that, in that top 15, top 10. And yeah, I mean, I think it's perfect. You know, you can see where Luca still is, and you can see if Jack Della Maddalena is already there to fight these kind of guys.
Agree. Let's go to the next fight here. We had, this is a great finish by Clayton Rodriguez. This guy's legit, man. I like him. He's good. Shannon Ross really shouldn't be in the UFC. He had a loss on Contender. He had a good fight. That's why they brought him in, but another loss here by knockout. Anyways, nice knockout by Clayton, though. Just quick, brutal. He did miss weight, though, right? I almost wonder if he didn't miss weight, if he would have got bonus, because, man, this was impressive.
Oh, yeah, he missed weight, yeah.
Missed by a pound.
Yeah.
Him and...
Subira.
Yeah, Tukukov, who we'll talk about him in a second. But, yeah, this guy's good, Marcel. What do you think of him, man? I like him. What do you think?
I like him, too, man. I think he actually also won his first fight, but he got...
I also thought he beat Barguera. That calf slicer, like, that was nasty.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a questionable decision by the judges. That was last year. That was on the Oliveira and Gaethje card.
But yeah, he did what he had to do here, man. Good win over the Turkish Delight. So yeah, I mean, what can you say? It's like I like flyweight fights. They are not known for quick finishes normally, but this was a good one, man. And listen, man, I like what Juani says there, but on the other hand, like I also like to see like the established flyweights fighting the younger guys, you know, because if you do Clayton against Tyra, you do again two young guys against each other, you know, and I feel like they should mix that a little bit more up with the Tim Elliott's of the division.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do this fight. I mean, it'd be a good fight, but I don't think so. Keep them on separate paths. There's no need to put these guys, like, they're both two of the best prospects of the division. Jamie Malarkey defeats Francisco Prado by decision, calls up Paddy Pimblett after the fight. Really, this Prado guy just didn't look ready for the UFC to me, Marcel. I know he survived, but
I picked him, right?
Yeah, I don't think he looked ready for the UFC. I think they kind of rushed him a little bit. He's like 20 years old. He's the second youngest guy besides Rosas now. He didn't look ready to me, man. I almost feel like he needed more work on the regional scene because he's only been fighting for like 2 years. I want to say 3 years. Anyways, Malarkey's a tough veteran. I figured he'd win the fight. Calls out Paddy Pimblett, Marcel. Like, and they're not going to book this fight, but like they won't book it. They won't book it. I'm telling you right now, they're not going to book the fight. But why not, right? Like, if you can't beat a guy like Jamie Malarkey, who's even going to beat? If you ask me, like Malarkey's a decent fighter, but he's not amazing. I just don't think they're going to book him, Marcel. Any quick thoughts on this fight?
wasn't pretty much an easy fight for Jamie Malarkey. He took him down. He pretty much controlled him there.
Yeah.
That's what he did. And the thing is, that's why I said it's a smart call out. Jamie Malarkey clearly won the fight, but he didn't do anything extra. You know what I mean? He just was really basic what he did. Almost fell asleep, but during that fight, because nothing really happened. He just was controlling him, trying to do some damage. And that's smart, if you want to call out Paddy Pimblett, because if you want to have a fight with Paddy Pimblett, you have to have a winning record and don't look that great. You know what I mean? Because otherwise the UFC is not going to book you against Paddy Pimblett. So I think he has a chance to get that fight. Don't get me wrong. I definitely think he has a chance to get that fight.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, there's a chance, but I don't know. I think he would win the fight anyways. I don't know. I think the UFC is going to just give Paddy a layup in our next fight. Like they like doing that. Would you keep Prowell on the roster and book him contender? I think exactly. He should have been a contender. He got to the UFC a little too quickly. Anyways, next fight, Jack Jenkins defeats Don Shainis. It was a pretty good fight actually. Don Shainis is a very tough dude. He had that full mount a couple times, which surprised me, Marcel. But Jenkins survived and Shainis survived. Went the distance. Good fight. Jack Jenkins is a fun guy to watch. Nasty leg kicks. Apparently, he broke Don Shainis' leg. That's what he said. So, anyways, quick thoughts on this one.
The funny thing for me was in that fight at a certain moment, Don Shainis finally lands a leg kick to Jack Jenkins, and he's pointing at him, and then Jack Jenkins give him 2 leg kicks back very hard, and Don Shainis is really upset about it. And then in the third round, he gets like a teep in the face, I think, in the last second, and he was wobbled from it, and then the buzzer went, and then he was still after him, and so I don't know if he was still in the zone, he didn't hear the buzzer, or he was wobbled still and he wasn't fully there. But Jack Jenkins, they said on the broadcast he broke from his last 3 opponents, he broke their legs with the leg.
Crazy, eh?
Those leg kicks were nasty, dude. Fun fighter to watch. I think he was already fun in Contender Series to watch, and I'd like to see what's next for him. And he looks to me like a fun fighter. He's like has like steel legs. So yeah.
He's an exciting guy to watch, man. He's definitely good. Like I think this is a fight he could have finished, but the opponent was more durable than I think a lot of us expected to. What are you gonna say?
And he got that porn stash from the 70s, so
Yep, I agree. All right. Look at this comment. I just got an email asking if I want to fight Paddy. What the hell? I don't even trade MMA. That's funny. Loma Lukbuni Marcel gets the submission win over Elise Reed. First round was kind of sketchy, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like Elise had that, she got the reversal and got in top position, and you're like, okay. And then the second round, Loma starts going to grappling again, and I was like, what? Why is she grappling?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, why are you doing this? And then submits her. So I've talked about this. I just don't think Elise Reed's good at all. I'll be honest with herself. She's 2-3 in the UFC. I don't think she beat McKenna, so really she's 1-4 in my opinion. 3 losses by stoppage. I don't think she's that good at all. They kept typing her up. They're like, oh, she's so good on the feet. Her Taekwondo is so amazing. I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? I'm not trying to be a hater. I just don't think she's that good. But Loma, showed some evolution in her game because obviously mostly just a striker in her career, gets her first submission victory, and it was good to see this submission win for in the UFC anyways. I don't know how much it moves her up the ladder, but it's still like a solid submission win and huge odds by submission. If you took her by submission, it's crazy odds. Any quick thoughts on this one?
Yeah, definitely. One of my happy moments on that card. Not that Elise lost, but the way Loma won.
Yeah.
I think it was really under the radar. That's why I extra shared it on Twitter today. Great win for her. The only problem Loma will keep having in the UFC is that she has to fight much bigger women. And that's why she is sometimes so easy to control on the ground in the first round, for example, for Elise Reed. I don't think it has to do with quality. It has to do with strength. You know what I mean? And then the second round, I was like, why she's going for the ground or for trying to take her to the ground? But she finished her like within 44 seconds. Crazy. Great win for her. And I'm really happy. I think Loma is one of the most fun girls to watch in that strawweight division. But I would love to see, for example, the atomweight division. I think that would be so perfect for her. For example, also for a girl like Michelle Watterson, for these kind of girls, it would be so amazing to have a 105 division in the UFC. But we probably won't see it. Probably we got 155 earlier than 105. I don't know.
It was 155. Oh my god. Oh my god. Anyways, yeah, I agree with you. All right, 2 more fights here, Marcel. Blake Builder both called it. Marcel consensus dog of the week passes or wins, I should say. And I bet on him. So
Nice.
bet on him, Marcel, at plus 130 odds. And to me, he definitely won 2 of the rounds. Arguably won all 3. He looked good, man. Give me your thoughts on this fight.
El Animal could win. I think he definitely had the first 2 rounds in the book, in my opinion. I think I scored all 3 rounds for him, if I completely if I can remember correctly. I really like what he showed. I was happy that the judges got it right, because I was like, there was one close round, and you never know. When you go to a place where somebody fights Shane Young, for example, in Australia, I kind of got to remember, like, do you remember the Kai Kara France Roleon Paiva fight, for example? So good win for Builder, man. I was happy for him. He looked good. Very nice UFC debut. Overall a good fight, and a deserved win, in my opinion. Stays undefeated.
I agree. And then the last fight here, Marcel. The first fight, I should say, the night. This was an interesting decision here. Elvis Brander gets a split decision over Zubair Tukhugov. I do think the commentary was very questionable for this fight. I think Bisping wasn't giving Brander any credit at all. When he clearly won was at the well, not clearly, but I think he won the first round. I wouldn't say clearly, but I think he did win in the strikes. So that, even the third round, the strikes were in his favor. But, the second round, definitely Zubair. I think that 30-27 by Evan Field, horrible scorecard. Just a terrible one. I do think 29-28, Elvis is not a horrible scorecard. I had it to Tukhugov barely, because I thought he won the last round barely, but it was close, Marcel. And honestly, he didn't look like a minus 600 favorite, regardless of the result. Any quick thoughts on this? I think you also scored it for Tukhugov, or how'd you have it?
I honestly had the first 2 rounds for Tukhugov, and I arguably you're going to give him the third one as well. I was when I heard 30-27, I was like, oh, okay, Tukhugov won.
Yeah. When I heard that, I was like, okay, then he won, obviously.
Yeah.
I was shocked when it was for Brander.
And I mean, Brenner didn't do bad at all. Don't get me wrong. I mean, for his debut, was not a bad fight at all. And many people were like happy because Zubaira missed weight again, even at a higher weight class. But gotta be honest here, man. He clearly won that fight, in my opinion. I don't know what those judges were watching. Definitely the 30-27 idiot. I have no idea. But I gotta be honest, man. So Tukhugov won that fight. I mean, I wonder what the UFC is going to do with him. Are they going to cut him? But he's part of the team from Islam, right? And Khabib, so maybe he's lucky. But I wouldn't be surprised if they cut him. And if they cut him, it's his own fault. Not that he lost, but that he missed weight again, even at a higher weight class. You know what I mean?
Yeah. By the way, thanks for sending that poster, Marcel. They finally sent it out.
Yeah.
Just got your text.
I still need the Instagram one and the landscape one. I'm still waiting for that, but
no worries. But let's get to the comments, guys. We're going to end the podcast in a minute, but I want to get all your comments here. Loma's first sub win against the Fighters Nervous sub. Yes, absolutely. This UFC wanted fighters approved giving bonus finishes. Completely agreed. Worth it. Bet on Builder. He's helping build our bankroll. Nice picks from you guys overall. Thank you. Look at that, Marcel. And I told that guy last week, I'm not sure if he's in the chat today, but he was like, you guys are struggling. Yes, we were, but we had a good fucking week. I had a really good week, Marcel. I said I was going to bounce back. I knew it, man. Can't suck forever, man.
I love how you get amped up about it.
Just because, like, it's the law of averages, like, we're not going to be as worst as our worst card. We're not going to be as good as our best card. We're going to be somewhere in the middle. I knew we would bounce back. It was a good week. Anyways, I said last week to who hasn't been good since you saw it 100%. You think they're going to cut him, Marcel? That's what he thinks. Ali's his manager, the super agent, so I don't know.
It's difficult, man. But if they do, he can't blame. He can only blame himself for that.
Yeah, he barely fights. He doesn't even fight that often. Yeah,
he got taken off a card because he had weight issues against Lucas Almeida in October. You know what I mean? Then he goes a weight class up and he still misses weight. So I mean, listen, man, I really like him as a fighter. I think he's a fun fighter to watch. I think he's a really good fighter actually, but he got to fix those weight cut issues, dude.
Yep. Fights on robbery, commentator, super bias, 30-27 thing. I agree. Ellis did a good job. Yeah, the announcing in that fight wasn't great. This guy likes Jack Jenkins B2. Something with the Dan Hooker thing where I guess he went back and listened to the beginning of the podcast. Zuba was robbed. I don't know if it was robbery, but it was close. I thought he won the fight, though. This he doesn't go. Comer just looks at betting lines. That's funny. Yeah, I saw the Brenner line was pretty high. I mean, it was more competitive than that line. So I think they definitely, like, whoever's doing is listening to the commentators, and they get impacted by that. Whose stock do you think dropped most at 284? That's a really good question. I always love this question from Marcus. It's always a great question. I'm looking at the card right now. Definitely Porter. I mean, he had that win streak for a while, and now it's Tyson Pedro. I think for sure that would be Pedro, right?
I honestly think, and this is not my opinion, I think for a lot of people, Islam Makhachev actually.
The stock dropped? Wow.
Yeah, because
Why?
many people think Volkanovski won. That's why I think it's not my opinion, right? I don't think like that, but I think many people do. And I don't agree with it.
Fair enough. A couple other comments here. Yeah, all the shooter box fighters, they are kind of similar, right? They really are. Who should be next for Tafa? Whoever's like at the bottom of the roster. I mean, the guy lost to Jared Vandera. He's not even in the UFC. Like, he's lucky he's still on the roster.
The winner of Josh Parisian against Jamal Pokes.
That makes sense. We'll talk about that fight in the next podcast here. Guram Malarkey, Markey wants to fight Patty, but yeah, I think Guram's really good, by the way. Don't forget to be your 7-fight Turner. That'd be good. Because Islam looks invincible, both took that away. Yeah, but I don't know how much the stock dropped. I think everyone knows the fight was amazing. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Anyways, that'd be it for this podcast, guys. Let's just wrap it up here. We're going to start another podcast in a second here. We're going to preview UFC Vegas 69. But yeah, it was really good to talk about this card with you, Marcel, because my God, what a fucking card. Like, it really was one of the best of all time, in my opinion. And I loved every second of it. So glad that we got to chat about it, man. Again, guys, you can follow me on Twitter at Martin Marcel, Big Marcel 24. Follow him on Twitter, Instagram. Podcast is at MMAOBsburger.com. You can listen to the podcast, watch it on YouTube. And then I want to mention as well, you can always listen to the audio form. It's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere, SoundCloud, anywhere near your podcast, you'll find this podcast. So if you want to download the audio version and listen to it while you're like going for a walk or like working out or something, you can always do that too. So just want to mention that. We're going to start the next podcast in a minute, guys. Bear with me while I set it up, and we're going to break down UFC Vegas 69. Appreciate you guys joining us here on this podcast. We'll talk to you in a second. If not, we'll see you guys next Monday. Peace.